It's the Bobby Mo Show, number one of a brand new year. And with a brand new year, we're going to talk about a lot of brand new things here at Robert Morris University with the Vice President and Director of Athletics, Chris King, who is here with me right now. Chris, great to see you. I know everybody's excited about a brand new season here.
Yeah, no, we're excited. We have had a very, very busy summer. A lot of new initiatives that we put in place. Got a lot of new initiatives this upcoming fall and spring season as well. So, of course, we got our teams back on the surface of play here, and so we're excited about the 23-24 academic year.
Yeah, absolutely. No question about it. We're going to get to some of those initiatives in just a little bit and some of the nuances that you'll see around the different stadia, the different courts, the different venues here at Robert Morris University in just a little bit. But let's talk about getting the Colonials back out on the floor, out on the court, out on the field. The teams are out there right now. Let's start with football. It's an exciting time. Bernard Clark Jr., the head coach of the Colonial football team, has brought in some new talent, and I know that they're getting ready to get it going here. A big home opener coming up on Saturday night next week, of course, and that's against an old rival, St. Francis of PA.
Yeah, and so we're excited about that game. And we have, of course, some of the new facility enhancements. We have the new video board, sound system, scoreboard. It's going to be a real nice addition for our fan experience. But it's also going to be one of the first night games in a long, 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 long time. I don't know how. I haven't talked to Jim Duzick and researched when that was, but it'll be a 6 o'clock kickoff, which would be really cool with a new video board. And it's really going to, I think we could end up breaking the record. Pretty confident that we could break the record. And plus, playing a former rival from the NEC, St. Francis, I think they're going to bring quite a few people down. So it'll be a homecoming before a homecoming.
All right, sounds great. Of course, the video board, I know you've seen it, you've heard the new sound system. What's it going to be like for the fans to see and hear this for the first time?
Well, that old scoreboard is a little archaic. I think it was put in when the stadium was put in. So the video board will add a lot of excitement. It's also add a lot of different revenue generating opportunities for our athletic department to be able to pay off the video board and or future enhancements for our facility. But again, I think whenever the team comes running out for the first time, you got a really cool video. It's just a totally different environment than without the video board. So I'm sure they're all trying to make bets with each other who's going to score the first touchdown and have the big boom from the cannon and the really cool graphic that comes up. And so the guys are all excited. They always like to see themselves up there.
I know it's not just fan enhancements either and stadium enhancements, but inside the stadium, in the guts of the stadium, doing a lot of things for the student athletes to make improvements inside.
Yeah, we did a lot of graphics. We started off late in the spring doing a lot of graphics and branding in the entrance, the Joe Walton entrance. We wanted to be able to honor him and his legacy. And then we were able to go down through the football locker room area and the corridor area and rebrand it entirely. It looks really cool. It does have a lot of different graphics of our former players that went to the NFL. It helps in recruiting. And then we started about late June across the hall in the athletics training room. And so it's very, very much overdue. Mike Vittorino, our longtime athletics trainer, is extremely excited about having a brand new state-of-the-art athletic training room where we got a hot tub, cold tub in there for the players, a lot of space, for treatment. And then there's a little bling bling in there as well with TVs and all that. And so it'll be a much better environment for the welfare of our student athletes.
I know the student athletes have to be excited about it. It also has to add to the recruiting process as well because it makes the facility that much more attractive to new students wanting to come here.
No, absolutely. And I'll tell you, Coach Clark, he took advantage of the transfer portal.
I know he did.
He definitely did. A lot of new names, a lot of new jerseys with numbers that and names on the back of jerseys that most people won't recognize. But I met with a lot of them this spring, and I was actually selling them on the renderings of the athletic training room and or our future locker room renovation. And that's what athletes they want to see. They want to see that there's support, there's investment, there's commitment into the program. And so between fundraising, between Coach Clark, playing an extra game guarantee last year, and then of course the support of our president, we've been able to do a lot of these facility enhancements and renovations in a very short period of time. And it took up our entire summer because it's not just football. It's been a lot of different facilities throughout our athletic program.
All right, we're here at the UPMC Event Center where we're taping the Bobby Mo Show, and of course there are some noticeable changes here too.
Yeah, we did. We changed the logo out, changed it to the new logo in the middle of the center court in the main arena, and we're getting ready to finalize, install. We're going to install new graphics and branding down in the men's and women's basketball corridor and locker room area. And so there's going to be some really cool graphics and branding that goes up. It'll really spruce up that area down there, especially when they're getting ready for games, get them excited, get them, pumped up. And there's going to be a really cool wall where they're all going to have acrylic frames with their action shots in it, right? Which is just it's just kind of a neat thing to do for them. And we'll have a branding with our partner Under Armour as well. And then from there, we're going to do a little enhancements in the practice gym. The banners that are on the side of the soundboards are going to go up in the rafters where they should have been initially. But we got some really cool graphics that are going to go right down the sides on the sounding boards. We're going to do some signage in there, some dimensional signage with the RMU logo as well as the Under Armour logos. So it's going to have a much different look. And it helps in recruiting. There's no doubt about it.
Let's talk about some of the other sports. Some new head coaches are here as well.
Yeah, we're excited. So we hired back in June Steve Shingledecker as our head men's golf coach. Steve actually served as our assistant coach last year. Had, I think, the second lowest scoring round for the entire year in their history. Steve came in, he's very popular with the players. They were really excited. We did a national search, and it just, didn't make a lot of sense not to stay with the guy who the players really liked, really trusted, really respected. And, he's been a great addition to our department, and he's got an incredible personality, he fits our culture. Really excited about Steve. And then late in June, we hired Courtney Grove, who was the head coach at Seton Hill. Extremely successful Division II head coach here in the area. She played at Duquesne. She's been in the Pittsburgh region. Her family, loves, wants to be here. And she was the favorite in the interviews by the girls again. And so, you listen to your players, you listen to your athletes in this day and age. You want to listen to their voices, but she stood above everybody else in the search, and we had a really strong pool. So we're excited about having Courtney on board and carrying the legacy of Katrina Silva and what she did with the women's lacrosse program. Every year win the championship game, and so Courtney has no pressure on her whatsoever. She just has to, win the MAC this year and go to the NCAA tournament. No pressure at all.
Chris King is the Vice President and Director of Athletics here at Robert Morris University, and we're here with the Bobby Moe Show. We're going to take a short time out. We'll come back with Chris King, more conversation, all about the Colonials coming up next right here on the Bobby Moe Show. Welcome back to the Bobby Moe Show. Chris Shovlin with Chris King, the Vice President and Director of Athletics here at Robert Morris University. We're talking all things Colonials right now, and of course an exciting time of the year because a brand new school year starts, a brand new sports year starts as well. It's not just football that's out there. There's a lot of other things going on. Let's talk about some of the other fall sports happening at Robert Morris right now. What's happening?
Well, you look at the soccer programs. Women's soccer's off to a fast start, 4-0 on the road. With some extremely competitive teams they're playing, including beating Akron 3-0 just last week. Men's soccer, our first-year head coach, Jonathan Potter, who was hired back in January, his first win was a 5-0 win against VMI. And so I feel as if those two teams have a really strong chance to be in that upper tier and competing for a championship in the Horizon League. And Danny Doherty just started off with volleyball. He's banged up a little bit, got a couple injuries to some key players. But they started out at Delaware, went 1-2, but they got a lot of talent. They got a freshman outside hitter and a freshman middle blocker that are pretty terrific. And so for them to be able to come in and compete right away in that starting lineup is a testament to Danny and Tilbay, our assistant coach, in the recruiting process. So excited about those sports as we get into the fall season and as we get into the Horizon League conference play.
Yeah, no question about it. And it's hard not to notice the basketball conditioning is going on right now.
Yeah.
There's a lot of running on this campus.
Yeah, there's basketball season will be here before you know it. Hockey season will be here before you know it. It's funny, I was talking to somebody today, and that's what I was saying. It's like you go from football, then hockey starts. And, basketball is like one night's sleep away, right? And so, we open up with Xavier with men's basketball. We go to Wisconsin. We'll announce the schedule here soon. We even have a special announcement on a game that I think that the fans are really going to like here in the UPMC Event Center. But I can't say anything until I, get the final signature.
I can't get anything out of you
No, you got it out of me in May. You got out the facility enhancements in May, but
that's true.
I don't want to mess this game up because I think this will be a standing room only crowd here in the UPMC Event Center, and it'll be for a great cause as well.
Okay.
And so I'm excited about making that announcement. Coach Toole is, he takes all the credit for it because he has a relationship with the coaches across the country, and be able to pull a game like this. We'll be excited for our fan base to hear about it.
Okay, well, that's for a future Bobby Moe show, so don't go anywhere. We're going to get it out of him sooner or later. Yeah. And it sounds like it's going to be later, but that's fine. Chris, we trust you on that. Obviously, you mentioned hockey, and it's no secret. Robert Morris hockey is back in the Berg. Yeah. Men's and women's hockey returns to Clearview Arena. It all starts off on October 7th, but something exciting happened this week. They hit the ice. Yeah, they started out. I was down there on the first day of practice for the men's team, first day of practice for the women's team, taking a photo with the team. Very proud of Coach Schooley and Coach Biddle, and going through a lot over the last 2 years to get to this point. I don't think they ever thought that was going to happen. And we got 54 young men and women that when I met with them, their first team meeting, both teams met together. I looked around the room, and I mean, they're all new faces. Wow. I got to meet them and get to know all of them. But they're excited. They're proud to represent RMU and represent RMU hockey. And so October 7th, the relaunch of the first home games is going to be right around the corner. Before you know it, we got a big weekend planned, alumni weekend. It'll be standing room only as well, and we're going to have a big festival outside of the Island Sports Center. Big screen TV, big old screen TV, because we're going to. There's going to be. There's going to be not enough seats for the amount of people that are going to come back for that opening weekend. Well, and I know there are enhancements on the island as well at Clearview Arena. Things are changing down there. It's not going to look like the same place. No, not at all. So the first day of practice was the first day that we're doing a facelift within inside the Clearview Arena. So repainting all the rails, the bleacher seats that were green are now going to be a really cool looking red. So they're in our school colors. They have to be. Well, they have to be, yeah. And so, but we're going to redo the graphics and branding with wraps that come down from the ceilings, down over the walls and the insulation. So when people come in there, it's going to be the wow factor. The only change, the only thing that will stay the same is the yellow beams will still be the yellow beams until we get to next summer, just because of timing. But it's going to be a really cool look, and you got to relaunch. You got to have a new facelift, right? Yep, absolutely. Chris King is the Vice President and Director of Athletics at Robert Morris University. We're going to take one more time out. When we come back, we'll put a cap on this week's Bobby Moe Show, but a lot more coming from Chris King right after this. Once again, welcome back to the Bobby Moe Show. Chris Shovlin with Vice President and Director of Athletics Chris King, a Robert Morris alum, Pittsburgh area native, and I just, you were telling me all the enhancements, all the hectic activity that took place this summer, getting things ready for this particular season. All the while, you've got to concentrate on all the changes going on in the NCAA, and I know there have been quite a few over the last few years. But those changes continue. The evolution of the NCAA, it just never stops. Yeah, we had said our department beginning of the year meeting earlier in the week, and there's so much we've done in the summer. I wanted to be able to talk to them, our staff, about the key legal issues that are going on in intercollegiate athletics. But I didn't have time, in our presentation to do that, and I'll do that at a later date. But there is so much, between the NIL and player compensation, and dealing with student athletes potentially as employees. There's collectives, the transfer portal. You can just keep going on and on. I can't tell you how many lawsuits, the NCAA is facing right now. And so it's a changing landscape in college athletics, and you have to evolve or you're going to fall behind. And I think I touched on that even in May as we were ending the show. But yeah, there is a lot of information that comes our way as athletic directors. And we're fortunate to have a terrific commissioner in the Horizon League and also in the Big South that keeps us up to date on the emerging trends that we have to deal with. Fortunately, it sounds like the Horizon League is really stable. The Big South, on the other hand, went through some changes, combining with the Ohio Valley Conference. And just wondering your thoughts on those changes. Yeah, well, I think, anytime that there is conference realignment, somebody's going to lose out. And unfortunately, when we joined the Big South, it was an extremely strong conference. And then there were some of the schools that split off that had FBS aspirations that hasn't gone in that direction, let's say. And so, we're down to a couple in the Big South, and we ended up
combining with the Ohio Valley Conference, who has now been able to add 2 or 3 additional members, and they all play football. So we're a little spread out, right? A little spread out. Go to Missouri, go to Tennessee, go to Illinois, but the competition level has increased. And so, Coach Clark, we got to continue to invest and commit into him because it is a tough conference and it's a tough, schedule to play. But yeah, I mean, we're excited about it. Bryant just departed. They're going back to the Colonial Athletic Association. And 24, we got to deal with a meeting tomorrow morning on the schedule for next year and the year after. I've had to turn around our non-conference schedule and turn it upside down a little bit over the next 3 years because, you schedule 4, 5, 6 years out. So there's been some complications with it, but we're happy to be in the Big South and the Ohio Valley Conference Alliance, and and some new teams. Everybody gets a chance to get to learn new teams and new locations, and hopefully Coach Clark is going to be the one on top of the conference at the end of the year.
To go where no man has ever gone before.
That's right.
That's what they said on Star Trek.
That's right.
What it seems to be in the NCAA right now. Chris, finally, let me just ask you your thoughts on the bigger picture, what's going on in the NCAA across the country. We see teams from the Pacific playing over in the Atlantic side of the country now, and conferences just merging and absorbing each other. Your thoughts on that, your personal thoughts on it?
I mean, if I was a Power 5 athletic director in the Big Ten or SEC, I'd say this is incredible. But I'm a mid-major athletic director and representing my alma mater, and it's disappointing. It's just, I'm a, traditionalist, I guess. I'm just disappointed to watch what's happening, and potentially we're going to see Pitt playing Stanford on an annual year, or Cal Berkeley. I mean, it just, I just feel for the student athletes, and the big cliche now and the big topic is the mental health and wellness issues. And I mean, how does it not how does that not increase those issues? I mean, you got to think about, at the end of the day, I know it's about money, but you got the networks, the TV networks that are controlling a lot of this, right? And I said this a decade ago, and I'm sure there's many, many others who did, so I'm not the genius in this, but I really felt like we need to take a look at football-only conferences and then realign everybody. Like, why is Robert Morris and Duquesne not in the same conference? I mean, with all due respect to Duquesne, they may think that they're in Atlantic 10 and all that, but I mean, we may be behind in some finances. We'll catch up. We'll figure it out. I mean, again, you could have some great regional rivalries, sort of like the old Big East, like when that split up. I mean, that was like as devastating then as what's going on right now today. So, as you can see, it irritates me, to be honest with you. I mean, I've been doing this for 28 years, and to see what's going on right now is just disappointing.
Yeah. Well, we've got Robert Morris, and we're excited.
Yeah.
And this is a great time for the Colonials right now.
Yeah.
And we're looking forward to another brand new season.
Yeah, it's I always say in any of these changes and all the stuff that's going on around us, I really don't have a whole lot of time to deal or think about it because I tunnel vision on Robert Morris and Robert Morris University Athletics, and everything we're trying to do to improve and make a commitment to our student athletes and their experience. So, there's a lot that goes on in this country and college athletics, but I can tell you about 99% tunnel vision on Robert Morris and 1% on whatever else.